theme-based discussions, the TBD sessions, and we have them every Wednesday. My name is Precious Olawale, and I'm your host for the TBD session. Today we have um, a special guest in our midst, and is going to be taking us on a very core aspect of teaching. In fact, outside teaching, but it's still part of teaching. And his name is Mr. Ganiyu Opeyemi Oyenuga. So before he comes up, I'll just briefly read his bio. Mr. Ganiyu Oyenuga Opeyemi is a business education professional. He's a teacher and a data analyst. He has gained experience working as an account officer in various companies and has also taught business studies and financial accounting in multiple schools. Currently, he serves as a Lagos State civil servant and works as a data analyst. So, this very evening, Mr. Ganiyu is going to be taking us through this topic beyond the classroom: financial literacy and skills diversification for educators. Beyond the classroom, financial literacy and skills diversification for educators. Mr. Ganiyu, I believe you're with us here. Good evening, sir. I'd like
Yeah,
to hear
good
from.
evening. Good evening, Precious. Yeah,
Hello, sir.
yeah, good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, sir. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, good evening. I'm happy to see you all, and it's a great pleasure having me in your midst. So, the topic I'm given to discuss on is beyond the classroom: financial literacy and skill diversification for educators. So, what Precious has already said all about me. So, let's just go straight to the point and let's just point out exactly what we need to learn from today's episode. So, what are we trying to say with this financial literacy and skill diversification? We are trying to bring up a whereby you will have another method of saving and another method of having more income. This is something we need to imbibe in, especially with the teachers. We know exactly what teaching profession is in Nigeria, and we cannot just stay on to teaching alone. So, what we'll be talking on today is how can we diversify? How can we move ahead of a teaching? We are not saying you should leave teaching. Even at times, some people love teaching generally, but the income is getting from teaching might not be the expected income. So, how do you? We are not saying you should leave teaching. How do you diversify from teaching? You'll be teaching and also doing other things, either related to teaching or other skills outside teaching. So let's move on. Then, what is a financial literacy? So let's just start move on with that. So as you can see, they said is the ability to understand and effectively use various financial skills, including personal financial management, budgeting, and investing. So what you are trying to say here is the ability you are able to use with the little income you are getting. There are some people, let me just use that as an example. You are financial literacy. So let's move to the next slide. So why do we need a financial literacy? Why? So when you are financial literate, you have the essential foundation for a smart relationship with money. That will tell you that with this financial literacy, you'll be able to know how to maneuver your money. You won't spend more than expected. You won't spend lavishly. Which are those things you need to know when having what's called financial literacy? So what are the things you need to know? Why do we need financial literacy? As you can see, the set number one is supports financial well-being. So day-to-day living expenses, living within your means, short-term borrowing, long-term budget forecasting. To manage this and other essential financial realities properly, as you go through life, you must be financially literate. That will tell you that your day-to-day living expenses must not be above your means. You have to live within your means, and form the habit of little borrowing, short term, even if he wants to borrow, know how to borrow, and they should be able to borrow the little you can be able to pay. Because we've seen some people that doesn't have up to, even their salary is not even up to 100,000, they are borrowing above that income they are getting, and they think with that they can live. I have some people living with God will do it. I'm not saying God will not do it, but at the beginning, manage what you have. So the second one is strategies to improve financial literacy skills. You must have so many strategies to be able to manage the little income you are getting. So how do you do that? Developing financial literacy involves learning and practicing skills relating to trending IT skills, such as we have so many skills you can use to improve your financial literacy. At times, that's why I see some people do have a budget for themselves. The little budget you have budget for savings, you have budget for other things at the end of the month. Okay, this is what I want to spend. I'll have some for savings. I'll have some for this. If your budget is not enough, try to work within what you can work with, which will go a long way for you to have more finances for other things. So that is the reason why we need what's called financial literacy. So let's move to the next slide. Practical strategies to consider in financial literacy. How do you, let's put it in practical this time around, how do we put it in such a way that we will be able to manage our financial literacy? The first thing, you have to create a budget. Very important. Know how much you are collecting. Manage what you are collecting. You have to track how much you receive every month and how much you must spend. Your spending must not be more than what you are receiving. Your spending must let's just try to curb that habit. With this, I will just try to, let me just give you an instance when I first got married. And there are some things I am doing then, which I believe it is a normal thing. When you get salary, you just buy everything you want, and at the end of the day, no money. Even the money to take a bus to work at times is very hard for you. And you keep on managing till the month's end. So that kind of habit should not be part of our own habit. We must form the habit of saving. Our expenses must not be more than the income we are earning. And the purpose of this topic is for us to expand our financial literacy. Not only expanding the little we have, get more income from other to be added to what you have. Then when you create that budget, try to look at yourself. Okay, how much am I earning? I'm earning 100,000. Sit down, check. Okay, this is transport for this, feeding for this, other expenses. I want to give family this. You must have a space for savings as well. You must also have at least, you must have 20% of your income as savings. You must have 20% of it. Even if you are collecting 100, just to look for a place to be putting 20%. As you are collecting 100, just look for a place to put like 10, that 20,000 into a separate account that you want to use this money either to invest in the future, or you use it for other things, not to be consumed, but just for investment purposes. So, and the second one is you have to pay yourself first. There are some things we do when we get salary. Try to satisfy yourself first. I'm not saying you should satisfy by okay, you go to Chicken Republic, let me first eat the money I worked for first. No. I'm not saying that. The thing is, you have to look for a way to invest in yourself. Learn more skills. Now that we are into this IT age, you learn more skills. You have so many skills you can learn online. When it comes to data analysis, you have business analysis, you have Power BI and some other things you can learn, which will enhance your own learning as well. Those things, let's try to imbibe in doing that. And that will surely ensure that we have more skills outside the teaching skills, because the skills you are learning will broaden you widen your experience, and also widen your knowledge about other things not related to teaching. Then the third one is pay bills promptly. There are some because they want to save. What I'm trying to say here
Sorry,
is
there's a Zoom meeting.
okay. Yes, what I'm trying to say here is pay bills promptly. So you have to know that there are some bills you cannot evade. There are some bills you know you have to do it. Don't say because you want to save more, then by then you won't pay some bills. No, no, no. We are not talking of that. Put a budget. Look at your salary, because there is no how you will not have some monthly expenses that you won't be working with. So those are the things you need to imbibe in. We are not saying because you want to save, you should now um, curb some of the expenses you need to do. You cannot say because you want to save, you won't eat. It's not possible. You will not say because you want to pay, you won't pay for rent, or you want to save, you won't pay for rent. It's not possible. There are some bills that it is very compulsory for you to do. So with this, but with all this now, just note one thing: you must always increase your savings. And how do you increase your savings? You increase it with the use of additional skills, whether the teaching skills or outside the teaching skills, and the income you are getting will be an additional to you. So that's the essence of this lecture this evening. So that's just a practical way of building a financial literacy. Let's
Thank
move
you
to
very
the next slide. Yeah, why is financial literacy important? Financial literacy gives an individual the tools and resources they need to be financially secure through their life. So it is very important that we need this financial literacy, very, very important. It makes us to be financially free. So even when you have a small money somewhere, you will have it at the back of your mind that okay, even if there are so many challenges ahead of you, which you know that the little you have you can still sustain with this. So it will make you happy. Because I remember then when I was trying to save some amount of money, then when it gets to a stage, whenever I felt like I'm hungry or something, is it because I've eaten in the morning, afternoon, and little I have, I will not, it will not be enough. But when I know I have something somewhere, I'll be able to manage. Okay, the reason why I'm saving this is this. So that's the reason why financial literacy is very, very important. Then how do we become financially literate? Becoming financially literate involves learning and practicing a various varieties of skills related to budgeting, managing, and paying off debts, and understanding credit and investment products. What am I trying to imbibe then? You have to involve yourself in varieties of skills when it comes to budgeting. Some people don't even know how to budget themselves. They just believe they are collecting money, and at the end of the day, after 1 or 2 weeks, you don't even know how you spend your money. You shouldn't be that kind of a person. You must be somebody that even before the salary comes, you already have the list. It makes me to get back to let me just use myself as an example. My wife know me. When it's getting to the end of the month, he will bring out his own budget, and I will tell him, my wife, I can't spend more than this. I will give him the exact amount I know I will be able to it will be able to sustain us till month end. Okay, this is what I can afford. Have it. As the day is going, if I still have extra aside from what I'm expecting, I can add to it. But presently, this is all my budget for the month for feeding. They are not saying because you want to cut expenses, you now give less when you have children at home and some other things. So we need to imbibe that in our own culture. Don't say because you are collecting money, any bill they bring, pay it off. No, 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 no. We should imbibe the habit of having some percentage of for our expenses. We should imbibe that. So which is a part of the reason why we are here. Let's imbibe ourselves in the habit of having a personal budget for ourselves. okay, 10% to go for feeding, 10%, another 10% to go for my students' school fees, another 10% to go for house rent, which I'll be saving till the end of the year. And so when we have that kind of budget, it will not allow us to have more debts at hand. At the end of the year, if you want to pay for house rent, you don't have to stress yourself. You already know the percentage you have been budgeting for house rent. If you just go there, just withdraw it and give it out with ease, without even stressing yourself. So not you wait till the end of the year when you now start saying, the landlord will now start asking, where is my house? And okay, let me see, I will borrow money, I will need that. And those are the things that affect many of us that are still young. We don't budget ourselves. We, the civil servant, we believe in getting loans. Where you are not keeping money, you want to get loan from it. We should form the habit of saving more, having more savings. Even if you want to get loan, you know you are having money there, but you just want to use that loan to be able to prepare yourself against next year. And that is what I do. I have money that I can use to pay my rent, but I'll just say, okay, let me just use that to act as my own savings for next year. Let me collect that loan and I'll be paying it. I'll pay for 12 months. At the end of the 12 months, I know I will have been through with that one. And that means I've already paid for next year rent. So with this, it will even you have rest of mind and you have more savings against other things you want to be doing. So that is how to become financially literate. So what are the principles of financial literacy? There are just 5 principles, which is borrowing, form the habit of borrowing someone. But I'm not saying you should just borrow anyhow. Borrow the little you know you can give. And that borrowing at times at the end helps you when you are in need of that kind of money. And earning, you must make sure you earn more. And that's exactly what you are trying to. You have to know how to earn more. You must earn more. You must look for a way to earn more, which is part of why you are trying to build this skill diversification. You must look for a way to earn more. And your spending must be less. These 5 key principles are those things we need to imbibe in ourselves. When you want to borrow what you know you can give, but you know whether you like it or not, it will surely come back to you in one way or the other. And make sure you look for a way to earn more than your expenses. And whenever you are spending, make sure you are spending less. Don't spend more than what you are earning. And you must form the habit of saving, which is very, very important. You must form the habit of saving. Very, very important. Even you must have one account, you know that this account, I cannot even touch it. And there are some occasions you will need to touch, but not all. And also, you must form the habit of investing. It's what you save that you use in investing. If you don't have any savings, like I do tell my students, you have some principles of having more money in your account, source of income. You have like 5 sources of income. Before we talk about any of the 5 sources of income, we talk about your savings. You want to start a business, they will first ask you, how much do you have? And that's the reason we need to have more savings than any other thing. So the savings we are having is what we'll use in investing to get more. So those are the principles of financial literacy. Then let's move to, now that we've talked about financial literacy, let's move to skill diversification. But let me just try to give a brief about that financial literacy we've just talked about. We are only talking about how can we manage the little we are having, which is the main thing. How do we manage? Precious is raising up his hand. Hope.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say I just wanted to tell you that you had 7 minutes more, so you should like kind of wrap it up. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Let me just give a summary of this skill diversification. We are trying to talk about how can we have more skills? How can we change from teaching to other skills, either related or unrelated, to get more money. That's what we mean by skill diversification. And in this modern world now, even in this modern age now, learning skills might not be, it's something useful, but might not be the exact thing we need now. We have so many online learning that we are doing now. Even with that, it can give you more income aside from teaching. You can learn data analysis, you can learn business analysis, you can learn, even there are some applications that you don't even have to go to the office before you have that skill, which will also bring more income to you. So as a teacher, you will need so many things. So let's move to those types of diversification you can just diverse to. Yes, we have just three of them. We have the concentric diversification, where we have, you are teaching business studies. I'm just using that as an example. And you are, after school hour, you are still teaching that exact business studies to get more income. That kind of skill is being diversified into extra lessons, but that skill is not the exact knowledge you are trying to put here. I want you to be in such a way that you will have more knowledge about other things, not part of teaching, which is exactly what we are gathering here to do this evening. So I've given an example of a teacher teaching business studies, and that teacher is the same business study as an extra lesson to somebody outside. So you get it. So that kind of skill diversification is called the concentric diversification. Then we have what's called the horizontal diversification. When you are teaching a subject in a school, and outside the school, like I do in my school, I teach business studies, and during lesson, I decide to teach mathematics or social studies. So it's still on the same teaching role. And we have the third one, we have the conglomerate and diversification, where we are trying to say we need to diversify totally from teaching. We need to let them know that as a teacher, we can do faster as a teacher. We get more things to be done as a teacher. So yeah, the example I've just given here is somebody that is acting as a teacher and as well helping a company to do analysis of data. You can see those two work specification doesn't correlate. Somebody teaching and somebody doing data analysis on system. Teaching does not involve system, but data analysis will involve system with some special applications. So let's try it, and which happens to be the difficult one. It happens to be the difficult one, and as it is difficult like this, you get more money from it. Because people will be thinking, this person is a teacher. So he can also do this, he can also do that. They will be willing to give you more with that. But if you are the kind of horizontal, is a teacher now, you can teach a business study, you can teach accounts, you can teach this. They just know he's a teacher, which is the weakest among all is this concentric diversification. Somebody staying in one line. I want to be a teacher. I can only teach business studies, so I can't even teach any other subject. That means you don't want to widen your brain. So it's just a gradual process. If you are a concentric teacher, move to horizontal. Look for other subjects you can teach, just to widen your knowledge. If you find out, okay, I have been able to teach this, I know this, I've been able to teach this. Okay, let me just move out of teaching. So when you move out of teaching, that one is called the conglomerate diversification. And the reason attached to this is to get more money, to get more income. So those are the things we need to imbibe as a teacher. We shouldn't stay only on teaching. I want to teach, I want to teach, I want to teach, I want to teach. We know we are teaching leaders of tomorrow, but we shouldn't wait for that tomorrow to come for those we taught to be feeding us. we should imbibe ourselves in. I do tell my students, before you use best, I will be using it before you use it. Because I cannot wait for you. How old are you? I will now wait for you before I will now be successful. It's not possible. As a teacher, because I have seen so many comedies of which students will be inside the bench and say, my mathematics teacher is still using bike and is still in that same school teaching. So as a modern teacher, we should try to diversify from teaching. We love teaching because teaching is not something we what do I call it? It's not something you can just jump into. If you don't love, some people, if you don't love teaching, you cannot enjoy teaching at all. You will even resign. That's just it. We love teaching. That's why we are here. But we should look for extra income that will make us get more savings so that it will not affect. Even this teaching alone, it's not a matter of a joke. We know how much we are collecting. We know what the economy is now, and even the money is not even enough. But with that little, try to save. There is a friend of mine that said, bros, when you get salary, save first. The response I gave that person then was that the money that is not enough for me, I would like from it. But it got to a stage, I need that savings, but there is nowhere to get it. So before you know it, I was just got back to my senses and said, let me just try to save. Let's see if it will work out. I started with 5,000. Before you know it, 5,000 is not affecting me. I changed it to 10,000. It's not affecting me. I change it to 15,000. It's not affecting me. Before you know it, there is no how. You will still manage within the money coming in, and which is something I want you to imbibe on. So with this short note that I've given to you, so I want us to imbibe in ourselves more savings, and let's just try to change from the teaching we love. I'm not saying we should leave teaching, but let's just like to look for more income, which will add as an additional income for us, which will not wake us to be waiting for when those children we are teaching now. It gets to, okay, when they now, when some of them will now be senators, why can't we be that now? So on that note, because I don't have much time, so on that note, so if there is any question from any of the viewers, you can just bring it up and let's just talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. It was an enlightening session. And I don't know if other people would have contributions, but before I give room for contributions or questions, as the case may be, I'll just ask some questions first. Like you said in the course of discussion, you said the modern day teacher should have other things he or she is involved in apart from teaching that would make them stand out. That would make, like, at least they wouldn't depend on their teaching job to survive. So I want to ask, or I'm going to ask, what skills or interests can educators explore for personal and financial growth? And how can they leverage these skills to pursue alternative income streams beyond teaching? Did you get my question, sir?
Yes, I get it. I get it.
Oh, thank you, sir. Can go ahead, please, sir.
All right, thank you, Precious. I really appreciate that question. The thing is, when it comes to teaching, we teach at ease. We teach. How will I put it? We teach in such a way that nobody is forcing us to teach. It is already it's already our culture. At times, some people teach and they don't feel that they are teaching because it's already in their gene. So it will not make them do as if they are doing anything. So other things you can do aside teaching, which will not affect your teaching skills, are those I mentioned some of the skills. You can do that of the data analysis where you will be taught so many of the applications like Excel, Access, History, and some other applications of which some companies are using it now. While at home, you can get work, and even while you are in the school, you're also working on your system, which will not affect one, or it will not even affect any of them. As a data analyst, nobody is even expecting you to be in the office. Yes, I have somebody like that for like 2 to 3 years. It's not even going to anywhere. We just sit down at home on his laptop, do meetings and some other things with his system. Let's assume that person has to be a teacher. He will not even feel it. So he just be on his table when he's having meeting, when other things are being done, he just go to class to teach and come back to the system. Because I know you can't be in the class from morning till evening. There will surely be an interval where you can just get yourself other things to be
Hmm.
done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I think the question was answered, but then I think you birthed another question. You mentioned, as a teacher, you can have your laptop in your class and you can do other things without affecting your work as a teacher. So, how do you manage, how do you manage teaching and doing your other side jobs, like the things you introduce? How do you manage doing those two together without reducing the value and knowledge that you bring to society as a teacher? So, how do you manage combining two jobs as a teacher without reducing the value and the knowledge you bring to your classroom and to society?
Mm, It seems you did not get me well when I was explaining. I'm not saying you will take your system to the class. Your system is already in the staff room. Just you can just put it there. Many teachers, like especially we modern teachers, are having systems getting to school. And nobody's giving us the money, but we want to explore ourselves. That's why we are having this system. We are not using it in class. We are not using it in school, but we want to explore ourselves. That's why we are having that system. And I'm not saying you should take it to the class. When it's time for teaching, you already know what to teach. Nobody is giving you clue or okay, this is what you want to go and teach in the class. You already know. So that will never affect. Because while teaching, I believe I'm teaching for the student to know more. And that will never affect. I cannot be in the class pressing phone or doing some other things. When I'm teaching, I use all my body to teach. But while sitting on the system, you do that one also with ease. That one doesn't take much time. But in the class, when you are teaching in the class, you don't have to go with any other thing to the class to teach because you already know what you are teaching, except if you are a novice. And I know all of us here, we are experts in teaching. We pass through the normal education line, which is the normal way to be a civil service, especially to be a teacher in Lagos State. So it is not a new thing to us. Even the subject we are giving are the subjects related to what we already know. So we teach at ease. We are not forcing ourselves to teach the students. We already know what to teach. Like I will just give my students notes after one or two one the second period. I just go there to explain. The student will be looking at me, sir, man, sir, how do you know all this? And I said I already know that. I am the one that copied the notes for you. So it won't take me much time to explain everything again, just to have that knowledge to the students. But it will never affect. You can just do the reason is this data analysis and some other things I'm just trying to introduce. Is at times you might have an urgent thing to do, you can just do it and go back to the class. But the major ones are always done after school hour. Because we have some of our teachers and we know after school they just go home and sleep till the next day. So which affects us financially. So in this modern day, I would just advise us to let's have more of IT knowledge. I'm not saying you should go and learn tailoring or learn this, learn. If you have that knowledge before, it's okay. But now we are moving into the modern world. We are moving into the modern world where we have somebody working from home, not doing anything. But as a teacher, it should be our own. It should be to our own advantage because as a civil servant, you can't be given 2 or 3 subjects to teach at the same time. It's not possible. It's only while you are working in a private school where you'll be given three. Even private schools now are now reducing, especially on those big schools. So they are now reducing the teachers' workload. It's only when you are having their subjects and some other things, of which you have more time for yourself. So as a teacher, we shouldn't limit ourselves to teaching alone. Teaching is just from 7:30 to 2, at times to 3. Aside that from 3, you can't rest from 3 till the next day. You should have other things you are doing just to get more income. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So moving on to the next question. What roles should the government play in empowering educators to achieve financial independence, and how can educators ensure its implementation? I believe, to some extent, if the government helps, it kind of reduces the whole burden from the teachers. So, if what can the government do? What should the government do? And knowing what they should do, how can educators make sure that the government does what they need to do? That's my question, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Precious. Let me start with this. We know that in this economy now, the first thing government should do is to let teachers know that they are the one teaching the leaders of tomorrow. And they should pump more amenities to the school. So, which is the main thing they need to do. We have so many schools without board. We have so many schools without teachers. We have so many schools overpopulated, of which even the learners are not even having a conducive environment. So when the learners are not having a conducive environment, how do you allow the teachers to teach and for the students to understand? So which are the main things the government needs to do? Provide a conducive environment for the students and for the teachers as well. We know that the government are still doing a manual record, of which is affecting with the teachers a lot. We need to go into lesson notes and some other things. With that, it will make more teachers to have less work. And as well, we talk about the issue of salary. How much are we collecting? It's still something you can't compare ourselves with somebody that is not doing anything. But on the long run, when you know the amount of money you are collecting, you will want to teach less just because of the money involved. So those are the things government needs to put into place, because the government of nowadays, we are seeing them as if they know education is something that is not giving them money, whereas it's pumping out something bad after 4 to 5 years, and it's affecting the economy generally. They have their children abroad, and we, the masses, are here running helter skelter, which is bad for us. So the only way we can tell the government about how to go about this is giving more advice via social medias and the rest. But we need to be very careful with the way we put things down. For so many of us, we will be the one to tell the government this, and the other person will change it and say, "Do you know what they are doing?" and some other things. So we need to be very careful while advising the government on issues they know they're expected to do. So I remember the school then. One of an external body came and said, "Why is this school like this?" I'm just giving you an instances where you need to be very careful. That person said, bros, I can't allow this school to be like, let me just snap the ceiling, let me snap the floor, let me snap the classes for the government to see. So the principal was the one telling the non-governmental organization that, bros, please don't snap. I don't want them to bring my name to allow sound and other things. And that person is just trying to help so that the government will know this place is not okay. Please come and build it. But because somebody will be at the end antagonizing the head of the school, that why we allow them to do this, why we have to do that. And at the end of the day, the school will just be like that for over 15 to 20 years, or maybe somebody from the close to the government now come to their aid, which is those things we need to very careful with. We are not saying you should not escalate the government, but don't escalate in such a way that they will think you are an opposition party. Because anything you are doing now, they will believe that it's some other party that is doing this, not knowing that you are just doing that for the government to know that these are the things they need to do, and these are the things we put them there to do. So that is how to go about that.
Thank you for the session. Thank you for answering that question, sir. Wisdom is necessary to address some issues so that we won't be at the receiving end of the backlash or any problem at the end of the day. Thank you so much for taking this session very well. I'm really grateful. I appreciate it. Lastly, I don't know if anyone has any contribution, but before anyone asks their question, Apart from, you mentioned the IT sector, technology sector, teachers venturing, transitioning into those sectors and industries. Apart from those sectors, what other industries can teachers transition into while leveraging their existing skills?
Um, one of it is let's try to have the IT knowledge. The IT knowledge of one. I was trying to explain to you that you need to learn some skills. When we were trying to explain those financial literacy, we are talking about how to get more knowledge. I was trying to tell you then that the only thing that is main for us to do now is let's learn the technology that we have now. Don't let us move into the manual. Don't let us have the habit of having a manual knowledge. Let's move to IT where you have all your things done on the system and some other things. I told you I'm a data analyst. Data in such a way that it's not that a full data analyst, but when they need me, they call me once in a while. Not going to the office, but okay, Oga, please, we need this analysis on. They'll give me a raw data and okay, let's pause with this analysis, and I'll do it, and they pay me for it, which is an additional income to me. To different companies, and they get data. Okay, bros, we need this, we need this. Let us put it into this, put it into this, and those are the things I'm just trying to say. I don't want to say that you will be teaching and your mind will be at another place entirely, of which it will affect the students, and then you yourself will not even enjoy yourself. So, which are the main things we need to imbibe in? Something that you can do remotely, because it will be very difficult for a teacher to stand from morning till evening and still go to one shop to be shouting, "How much do you want to buy? How much do you want to sell?" You get it. So let's try to look for a way to reduce our talking. And the only way we can use to reduce our talking is engaging in technology. So those are the things. That's why I say you have to learn some skills relating to Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. Someone only know how to type. There are some things you can do with Microsoft Word that others cannot do. Just learn more on it. Microsoft Excel as well. We have so many analysis that can be done with Excel. So many analysis, so many that you can do with it. So when you know you are a guru in that aspect, people will come for you in all ways. People will come for you, and even they want to pay more than the salary you are collecting. So those are the ways you can go about that.
Thank you very much, sir. This has been a practical, an educative session, and I appreciate all the practical insights that you've been bringing in, the examples, and everything. And I think it has widened our horizons to other things we can do as teachers. Thank you for handling this session very well, sir. So I'll just throw it open to the participants. Okay, I think Mr. Olamide is raising a hand. Do you have a question, sir, or a contribution? Question. That brings us to the end of today's meeting. Thanks for participating. Thank you, sir, for honoring our invitation, and thanks to every other person that participated in the conversation today. Thank you for honoring our invitation. You are appreciated. So, the theme-based discussion is organized by Everything Literature, and it is an edtech organization that is dedicated to revolutionizing the digital teaching and learning experience for literary educators and enthusiasts in Africa and globally. So we educate, connect, develop, and equip teachers, and we have a network of growing educators. It's called the Everything Literature Network Community on WhatsApp. So we there too, it's all about our growth and development. And we have a weekly schedule for the things we do in the week. On Mondays we have plan, ask, and share. On Tuesdays we have trivia and teaching tips. On Wednesdays we have the TBD session like today, and we have a Q&A session afterwards. On Thursdays we have our peer review and feedback. On Friday we have the virtual reading club. On Saturday, we have virtual chats. On Sunday, we just do reminders of our weekly schedule and things we have to do for the week. So that's it for today's session. Thank you for joining in. Remember to stay productive and proactive throughout the week. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Good night.